got a letter from a fan. Let's see what he has to say, shall we?
Dear ObsidiusFan, hi, I'm Jacob, also known as Hawlucha's Wingman. I'm a huge fan of your work, and I've been following your videos ever since you made those really bad countdowns with audio recorded from a freaking phone. And I've loved every single one of them, even with your stupid accent. Seriously, you sound like a Mexican caveman. Do all Argentinians sound that dumb, or is it just you? Anyways, I digress. I recently got a game that I didn't really like all that much because I have poor taste in games, apparently. That game is Kid Icarus Uprising. And since I recall you said you couldn't decide if you loved or hated Kid Icarus Uprising, I decided to send it to you myself. All the way from USA to Argentina. And now, I will force you to review it. You have to. For me, the best fan a mediocre Argentinian YouTuber ever had. And if you don't review Kid Icarus Uprising, I'll kill your dog. Don't ask how, I have my methods. To quote the great Shia LaBeouf, just do it!
Okay then. Hey, where's the game case?
P.S. I didn't send the game's case because screw you!
I bet nobody saw this coming. A new Kid Icarus game, 20 years after the last one, and going from 2D platforming to 3D action-adventure with heavy focus on comedic writing? That sounds insane! Of course that only Nintendo, with the help of the crazy yet brilliant man known as Masahiro Sakurai, could deliver on such a crazy premise and actually make it work, when they released Kid Icarus Uprising as a Nintendo 3DS exclusive back in 2012. This is a game that I always had a weird relationship with. I played many times with the help of a friend who owned it before I did, and while I loved certain aspects about it, I also hated other parts with passion. So I was not really sure if I wanted to invest the money to get the full game for myself. Luckily for me, one of my biggest fans, known as Hawlucha's Wingman, sent his copy of Uprising so I could play it, enjoy it and review it without having to spend a single peso on it. Yes, I am Argentinian, we use pesos, get over it.
I am extremely grateful to Hawlucha's Wingman for sending me all of those games, especially Kid Icarus Uprising. Seriously buddy, you have no idea how much money you saved me, and now I can review it just so all of my viewers can enjoy it. Seriously, you should all thank Hawlucha's Wingman because this review wouldn't be possible without him. Although, an actual game case would have been a good detail.
Now that I fully played Kid Icarus Uprising by myself, I would be lying if I say that I hated it. It is a very good game, but with some glaring issues that you have to hear about before considering buying it for yourself. And that's why I'm here, to review it for you and tell you about the best and the worst things in Kid Icarus Uprising. Let's begin with the story as always. As you would expect from a Nintendo game that isn't Zelda, Metroid or Fire Emblem, the story is not one of Kid Icarus Uprising's stronger aspects. The plot is very simple and to the point. You play as the angel Pete, main commander of the goddess of light Palutena's army. The evil Medusa has revived from her last appearance in the original game, and now it's your task to travel to the underworld, defeat all of her demonic minions, and finally end with her evil plans. There are some twists in the story, new enemies appear, bad stuff happens to Pete and his friends, and even an entirely new villain pops up later down the line, which I shouldn't spoil, but pretty much everybody on the internet knows about it, so fuck it. It's not the richest plot we'll find in a game, but it's fairly decent, it gets the job done. Kid Icarus Uprising is obviously not trying to tell an interesting story, it's not its main focus, it just creates a fairly decent setting to put the characters in, and make them interact between each other. Now that's what I'm talking about. The main stars of this game are the characters and the dialogue between them. Pete is a cheerful, over-the-top and naive protagonist. I love him, even though the guy who sent this game hates him for a reason. What the hell is wrong with you, Jacob? Pete is awesome! Other amazing characters include the sassy Viridi, the edgy Dark Pete, the charming Phosphora, the badass Magnus, and of course, Lady Palutena herself, which is my personal favorite character in the game. She's just so cute, funny and lovable.
Now, are you familiar with the term waifu? No? I will let you Google if you don't. I'll wait here. Are you done? Well, I am not one to go around saying this or that character is his waifu. That's a bit lame, but damn, Palutena?
With such a memorable cast, you are bound to have memorable dialogue between them, and it delivers. Kid Icarus Uprising became a cult classic mainly due to the hilarious interactions between its colorful cast of characters, which happens as you play through the different chapters. The writing of this game is just brilliant, funny, and very well done, with its fair share of jokes, banter, and references.
Still speaking English right now?
I'm sorry, Pit. I didn't mean to confuse you. Let me make this easier for you. Big monsters kill Pit! Grr!
Ah, that makes perfect sense. Thank you.
Don't you know that the definition of angel is errand spirit?
That's a lie. Right, Lady Palutena? I'm not your personal assistant.
I could use a coffee.
Sure thing. Cream and 2 sugars, right?
They're very well-rounded weapons.
Oh, I know. I used them in the last brawl.
Brawl? How horrible! Were you hurt?
No way, it was a smash!
I just can't imagine you in a melee.
That's because I wasn't.
This wouldn't be possible, of course, without some of the best voice acting I've ever heard in a video game. I usually talk about this in the presentation segment, but the dialogue in this game is such an important feature that I had to address it on here. Every single voice actor and actress does a fantastic job. They give life to their characters and make their personalities work perfectly, especially when they are talking between each other. Major kudos to all of them, especially to the great Troy Baker.
If I was gay, he would be my husbando. Just Google that as well.
Trust me, you will not remember the actual plot of the game very much, but you will always remember Kid Icarus Uprising for all of its funny moments and awesome characters, worthy of replacing Snake's Codex from Brawl in Super Smash Bros. 4, and the real villain of the game, Hades, is just the best part of this.
If I was more popular, I could have the avatar cameo as Hades in this review, but I can't. I know, I suck so much.
For a console as limited as the 3DS, Kid Icarus Uprising looks nearly perfect. The character models look very good, the speed of the action is smooth, the backgrounds and environments look detailed, the atmosphere is engaging, the designs of the characters and enemies are very unique, and everything overall is just a feast for the eyes. Except when you have the 3D of your console on. It actually works well for this game, but it will just hurt your eyes. I swear the 3D of the 3DS is very freaking pointless, even if it can occasionally look good. What the heck is up with that, Nintendo? The music is not too bad either. While it's not a soundtrack you will particularly find yourself listening to over and over, it has its fair share of great songs that can create a wonderful atmosphere when required. It's overall a very well composed and orchestrated soundtrack, as expected from every modern Nintendo video game. Some of the best tracks include the boss theme, Lights in Battle, the final boss theme, and Dark Pete's theme, which actually makes me wish I could play the Spanish guitar.
And no, I can't play the Spanish guitar just because I am from a Spanish-speaking country. That would be racist, so check your privilege.
And there are many other amazing songs as well. So yeah, Kid Icarus Uprising both looks and sounds perfectly. With all the praise I gave to both the story and the presentation, it seems that this title may earn a full 10 out of 10. Sadly, that won't be the case on here, as the gameplay is far from perfect. The gameplay of Kid Icarus Uprising is split into two major segments on every chapter, the flying sections and the walking sections. During the former, Pete gets help from Palutena so he can fly around in the air for a specific amount of time, while defeating many enemies with his weapons in the process. This pretty much plays like a shoot 'em up, and it actually works very well. It's dynamic, chaotic, and tons of fun. But it doesn't last very long, as these flying sections are usually just the introduction of each chapter. The on-foot sections, on the other hand, are the true meat of the game, and sadly, where most of its flaws lie. Pete won't be able to fly freely anymore, so he has to rely on smashing enemies on the ground. This is not a hack and slash, but the combat works just fine, with both range and melee attacks. I may personally prefer the on-foot sections over the flying ones, but I can't deny that they are way more flawed. The gameplay can become very repetitive very fast. Most of the times, the objective is just to kill all the enemies while you keep traveling through the stage until you reach the boss at the end. While there is the occasional vehicle or mecha to make things more interesting, and trust me, they are very fun to play as, I can't really call them variety. In some of the longer chapters, you will eventually get bored and just want to get over with it. There are very few puzzles or platforming challenges. It's all mostly about killing enemies that get in your way. And with such a big reliance on the combat, Kid Icarus Uprising tries to keep it interesting with different types of demons to face. But it fails miserably because so many of them are very annoying and cheap, making the experience of facing them frustrating most of the times. Don't get me wrong, a lot of enemies can be fun to fight and they all have creative designs, to be fair. But the Tempura Wizards, the Orns, the Clover Skulls, the Mimic Cuties and many more are examples of some of the most irritating creatures you can face on this game. And I hate them so much, I swear. It's like these enemies are punishment sent to you straight from the depths of hell. Oh wait, they actually are. Huh.
What was that? Oh yes, I will address the elephant in the room, the part of the gameplay that I am sure everybody is waiting for me to talk about. I hate the controls of this game!
Seriously, why? Who in Nintendo or Sora dropped the ball here? Was it Sakurai? I bet it was Sakurai, fucking troll. You control Pete with the D-pad, shoot with the L button and aim with the stylus. The controls for the flying segments are not too bad. Fair enough, I can handle that crap in a 2D plane, but when he's on the ground, you also have to worry about his 3D movement, making the task of moving Pete and focus on attacking at the same time all the more cumbersome. It's hard to explain, but the controls of Kid Icarus Uprising are sort of the worst I've ever experienced in a AAA actually good video game. If you play this, I am sure you understand. They make my hands hurt a lot, and they can even cause carpal tunnel after long sessions of playing. I shit you not.
Am I the only one who thinks that carpal tunnel sounds like a sexual disease? No, it's just me? Huh. Why am I even talking about sexual diseases in a review of a Nintendo game? Don't Google that, kids!
To be completely honest, not only you can choose between different types of controls, but you will also get used to it eventually, so it's not too bad. But it doesn't change the fact that, on first impression, the controls of Kid Icarus Uprising suck big time, and it can be a painful task to play it. Oh, and the camera is not your friend either, it can also get very annoying at times. This clunky control scheme was originally the main reason of why I couldn't decide if I loved or hated this game. And even if I got used to them, I still find these controls unreliable, hence why I just ranted a lot about it, but now I'm going to shut up and move on. When it's all said and done, the gameplay of Kid Icarus Uprising is still fast, unique, dynamic, and very fun once you get used to the control scheme and get to know your annoying enemies. While repetitive, each level is actually very well designed, to be honest. Every single chapter is memorable in its own way, and some of them have their fair share of additions to try to keep things fresh. They are actually a blast to play all the way through. Most of the times, of course. There is a minor thing that bugs me about Uprising though. It's just a nitpick, but why is Pete unable to jump on the ground? I know this is more of a personal thing than an actual flaw, but it makes no sense! He has wings, he could fly in the older games, but no! Now Pete can only jump his steps on these special jumping devices. What's up with that design flaw, Palutena? Do you want Pete to suffer? On the other hand, I wouldn't be surprised if she did. Another main element of this game are the weapons. Before every chapter you can choose from 9 different types of weapons for Pete to wield, including bows, claws, clubs, and many more, and every single weapon has their own unique design and specific stats. I love the weapon variety in this game because they are all a blast to use, with my favorites being the Orbitars, most of the times. But I can't deny that something about them bugs me. The fact that you can only equip Pete with one weapon per chapter. That is just so dumb. What's the point of having so many different weapons when you can only use one at a time? Wouldn't have it been more fun to being able to switch them whenever you wanted in the middle of a chapter? That would have made the gameplay less repetitive and overall more badass. Not a major flaw that would make me lower down the final score, but is yet another stupid design choice. And sadly, the boss battles of this game are rather mediocre, which is very disappointing considering the fast-paced action of the gameplay. Most battles end up falling in the shoot and avoid until they are dead formula, which makes them repetitive and forgettable. It's a shame because most of the bosses have amazing designs, charming personalities, and clever dialogue, but lackluster gameplay. There's a fair share of exceptions, of course, examples like Dark Pit, Medusa, Hydro, and Hades shine in comparison to the rest of Uprising's repetitive and mundane bosses. Kid Icarus Uprising has 25 different chapters in the main story, with a lot of hidden secrets around them and different difficulty settings to spice things up. It's a very lengthy game, but it never overstays its welcome, and it has a lot of content to it after you finish the main story. One of the most prominent extra modes is the online multiplayer. That's right, Kid Icarus Uprising actually has a multiplayer arena. You can fight either alone or choose a team, select the items, weapons and power-ups you wanna use, and face friends or strangers online. It's not the deepest or most addictive multiplayer mode ever in a game, but hey, it is actually very fun and a great way to keep the replayability frequent if you actually like the combat and have a few friends to play with. And if their hands don't hurt after long sessions of playing with these fucking controls. Sadly, I don't have any friends to play this with. Kid Icarus Uprising has a huge fanbase and cult following, and I ain't gonna lie, I am kind of part of it right now. As you would expect from both Sakurai and Nintendo, this is a very polished game. Even with its big flaws, it's definitely worth all the praise and love it got, and I wouldn't be surprised if it gets a sequel in the near future. There's no denying that Kid Icarus Uprising got all of its praise mainly due to its likable characters, its well-written comedic dialogue, the impressive visuals, the impeccable soundtrack, and the fast-paced action gameplay. But even with these solid positives, the negatives make this game one that can be kind of hard to get into, especially because of the repetitive gameplay and uncomfortable controls. Oh, and the story is not anything special either. I will give Kid Icarus Uprising a very solid 8.5 out of 10, and I will level it with the word personality. Okay, I know that's a noun and not an adjective, but what I mean is that this is a game that is oozing with personality in its characters, its level design, its dialogue, and even in its flawed gameplay. If you like what you see and you want to get into this highly praised game, I say you should get it for your 3DS. It's definitely worth your time if you can get past the weird controls. But if you are worried that some of the flaws may prevent you from liking it, you should proceed with caution. Once you get past all of the flaws, it's definitely worth playing it just for all the positives. In that case, I recommend borrowing Kid Icarus Uprising from a friend, renting it, or getting it for a cheap price.
Or, you know, you could create a YouTube channel and eventually wait for a fan to send it to you.
And that was my game review number 9 on Kid Icarus Uprising. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you liked it. If you have anything to say about the game or the review, I encourage you to leave a comment. It's always appreciated. Thanks a lot to Hawlucha's Wingman for sending the game itself and for making a cameo appearance on this video, even if his microphone sucks. There's a link to his channel right there. Oh, and if any of you are interested in sending me a game, you can contact me privately and we can talk about it. You can click there to see more reviews, there to see some of my countdowns, and there to check out my original series, The Boss Inspection. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you guys next time.